Hello everyone. Welcome back to Jikook Magic. Have you ever imagined what it feels like to stand in the middle of a sea of army, watching BTS just a few meters in front of you, in a moment filled with emotion, love, and an energy that's almost impossible to put into words? That day at Incheon International Airport wasn't just an ordinary departure. It was the beginning of an emotional journey to New York. Behind their smiles and gentle waves, there was a much deeper story about hard work, about their grand Arirang comeback, and about the invisible connection that binds them to millions of ARMY around the world. And among all of that, there are two figures who always manage to steal the spotlight: Park Jimin and Jungkook. A brief glance, a soft smile, and the simplest moments that somehow feel the most real. Is it just coincidence? Or is there something more than what we see? In this video, we'll dive into every detail, from the airport to the stage, to those small moments that might go unnoticed but carry such deep meaning. So make sure you watch until the end, because this story might change the way you see everything. After successfully opening their grand concert in Korea, the 7 members of BTS once again captured public attention as they appeared at Incheon International Airport. That day, the airport wasn't just a place of departure. It transformed into an ocean of tie-in. Cheers echoed loudly, cries of love filled the air, and thousands of fans from all over gathered, willing to wait for hours just to catch a glimpse of the group that has changed their lives. Amid the crowd, one thing became very clear. Even though traces of exhaustion could still be seen on their faces, the energy of ARMY seemed to give them new strength. Every wave, every small smile, even the briefest glance felt sincere, as if they wanted to say that their fans are never taken for granted. But this journey was more than just traveling from one country to another. BTS carried something much bigger, an emotional mission through their Arirang comeback. This album is not just a collection of songs. It represents their long journey, their sacrifices, and their growth as global artists. Every note, every lyric, and every choreography is designed not only to entertain, but to touch hearts, connecting them with millions of ARMY worldwide. As their plane took off toward New York, the cheers at the airport slowly turned into prayers. Prayers for safety, for success, and for the beautiful moments they were about to create in the city that never sleeps. There, major schedules awaited them, from live performances on renowned TV shows, exclusive interviews with international media, to special events where they could meet global ARMY face-to-face. Every step they take in New York will be under the world's spotlight. From the dazzling lights of Times Square to prestigious broadcast studios, BTS will once again prove why they stand at the top of the global music industry. But behind all the glamour, one thing never changes: their closeness with fans. Simple gestures like hand hearts, small waves, or warm greetings always become the most anticipated moments. And among all the members, the interactions between Jimin and Jungkook, known as Jikook, always steal the spotlight. Without needing many words, just through a glance or a smile, they create moments that feel deeply personal to anyone watching. There's something hard to explain when the two of them stand side by side. It's as if the world slows down for a moment, giving space for their chemistry to shine. Even in the crowded airport, that warmth is still there, real, simple, yet incredibly powerful. Behind all of this, there is hard work that often goes unseen. Endless practice, perfecting every detail of their performances, and the pressure to always appear flawless in front of the world. The Arirang comeback is not just a music project. It is the result of limitless dedication. And ARMY, with their sensitivity, can always feel that effort, not only through grand performances on stage, but also through the smallest details. The night before, BTS's performance broadcast on Netflix became clear proof of that hard work. Even through a screen, the experience felt alive. Every song carried waves of emotion, every choreography was full of meaning, and every expression from the members seemed to break through the distance. Seeing them together again after such a long time brought an indescribable feeling, a mix of joy, emotion, and gratitude. It's no exaggeration to say that BTS doesn't just perform, they create experiences. During the concert, Jimin became one of the highlights. With his incredible stage presence, Every movement felt like living art. His expressions, the way he immersed himself in the music, and the smallest details in his performance made it impossible for fans to look away. It's no wonder comments like "Jimin is the talk of the show" were everywhere. Meanwhile, Jungkook showed his signature charm, stable energy, powerful vocals, and charisma that reached every corner of the arena. But what's even more captivating isn't just their individual performances. It's how they remain connected amidst the chaos of the grand stage. Glances searching for each other, small smiles that last only seconds, spontaneous reactions to each other's movements. These may seem simple, but that's exactly where their beauty lies. A connection like that can't be forced, it can only be felt. Some fans might expect more obvious or dramatic moments, but the truth is, genuine connections often appear in the most subtle details. Especially in Korea, where the environment tends to be more conservative, every gesture is carefully considered. It doesn't mean their closeness fades. If anything, it becomes deeper, more subtle, and more real. After 4 years of waiting, BTS's return to Gwangwamun became a powerful symbol of revival. There, they didn't just perform for fans, but also expressed gratitude to everyone who supported them, from security personnel to the surrounding community. And of course, to ARMY. The voices of fans filling the area were more than just cheers. They were proof of unwavering love. That energy flowed onto the stage, blending with BTS's performance, creating a moment that will never be forgotten. In the end, the journey from Incheon to New York, from the Netflix screen to the Gwangwamun stage, is not just a series of events. It's a story about connection, between artists and fans, between music and emotion, between hope and reality. BTS doesn't just sing songs, they deliver feelings. And ARMY doesn't just watch. They feel, they live, and they become part of every moment. Safe travels, BTS. Wherever you go, the world will always be waiting, and we, ARMY, will always be here waiting for the next magic you create. From Incheon to New York, from screens to grand stages, BTS's journey is not just about music, but about the emotions they share without limits. And perhaps, among the bright lights and the roaring world, it's the small moments, like the interactions between Park Jimin and Jungkook, that leave the deepest impression, because that's where the true warmth is felt. Thank you for being part of this journey. If you feel the same way, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Jikook Magic, because there are still so many magical moments for us to explore together. See you in the next video, and remember, sometimes the smallest details hold the greatest magic.